on a Monday, right? All right. So the regular session of the Planning Commission of the City of Lancaster will come to order at 5:01 p.m. on Monday, April 19th, 2021. This meeting is being conducted virtually pursuant to the Governor's Order N29-20 because this is a telephonic meeting. All votes will be taken by roll call. I'll offer a brief invocation if you pray with me. Our Father God, we thank you for the blessings that you've bestowed on our community of Lancaster. We honor and pray for those serving members of the armed forces, veterans, first responders, and medical professionals. We remember all who served, and especially those who have sacrificed their life for the freedoms we all enjoy in this great country. For Father God, we humbly ask you for guidance in identifying the problems we can rectify in our community. Guide us in our efforts to fairly administer the Planning Commission's objectives, and help us use our time and energy wisely, not to waste it on insignificant matters that benefit no one. Please bless us all to your service. I pray in his name, amen. May we have a roll call, please?
Chairman Vos.
Here.
Vice Chairperson Smith.
Here.
Commissioner Cook.
Present.
Commissioner Harvey.
Present.
Commissioner Moore.
Present.
Commissioner Paris.
Present.
Commissioner Tufts.
Present.
Great, we have a quorum.
Great to see all you tonight, fellow commissioners and staff, and guests and public, it looks like, from what I can see on our screen. Do we have, we have public business from the floor on agendized items. These items typically will be called individually, and when they are called, then speakers will have an opportunity to address the commission. We also will receive any written communication, emails, and that sort of thing. So if you have public comments on agendized items, please hold them until we call the items on the agenda. At the end of the meeting, the public will have the opportunity to address the commission on any item that's not on the agenda. So before we start with any action items, Ms. De La Cruz, do we have any email comments other than what we have received a little earlier today? We received one email on item number 4 from Mr. Garcia supporting that particular item. And we also received from staff uncontested letters for items 3, 4, and 5.
There was one more support letter for item number 4 that you should have also received that.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that as yet. All right. Okay, so the first item is approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of February 8th and March 15th. However, do we have any public comments on this item before we take action?
There are no public comments on this matter, Chairman Vos.
All right, thank you. So then it would be appropriate to consider a motion on item number 1, which is the approval of the minutes of February 8th and March 15th, 2021. Have a motion, please.
I'll make the motion to accept the approval of the minutes from the special meeting of from March. I make a motion to approve those.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All right, any further comments?
Commissioner Tufts, can you second it? Because you weren't here for one of them. Do we need to abstain from that vote?
Oh, yeah, we actually do. We need to separate. So,
I'll second. We have to do it again?
no, that's fine.
All right, then King Moore will second it.
All right, then, do we need to separate the action item? Is that what you're suggesting, Ms. De La Cruz?
Correct. We could take action on the minutes for the February meeting first, and then action on the March minutes separately.
Okay. They're on my agenda together. So, all right, then Ms. Cook is amending her motion to February 8th only, right?
Yes, I amend my motion to approve the minutes for the special meeting of February 8th, 2021.
Thank you. Do we have a second to that?
I second.
Thank you. All right. No further comments then? Please call a roll.
Chairman Bose,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvey,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Paris,
Abstain.
and Commissioner Tufts.
I'll abstain.
So it's 5-0 and 2 abstentions.
Correct.
All right, thank you. Now may we have a motion on the March 15th meeting, please?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the March 15th, 2021 meeting for the minutes.
I second.
Thank you. Anything further? Please call the roll.
Chairman Bose,
Yes.
Vice Chair Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvey,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Paris,
Yes.
and Commissioner Tufts.
Yes.
7-0, thank you.
Thank you.
It should be nice when we can all get back together in person, won't it?
Eventually we will.
Eventually. All right. By the way, let me ask you a question before we proceed with the agenda. Who of our commissioners have not had their full vaccinations for the COVID-19? Anyone?
Sounds like a HIPAA violation to me.
I can ask the question, you don't have to answer.
Complete.
We're all complete.
Yep.
Who want to be complete, right? All right. I'm glad everybody's healthy. All right, the first item is a new public hearing. So without objection, we'll open the public hearing on item number 2, which is tentative tract map 61248. Ms. Garibay, I believe, is presenting on this. Please proceed.
All right. Good evening, Chairman Vose and members of the Planning Commission. The item before you is a request for a subdivision of approximately 40 acres into 157 residential lots located in the R7000 zone. The subject property is located at the southeast corner of Avenue J and 32nd Street East. It is nestled between 2 residential subdivisions to the east and west and vacant land to the north and south. The elevations and floor plans for the proposed residential lots would be reviewed and approved by the Architectural and Design Commission prior to issuance of construction permits for compliance with the design guidelines and Lancaster Municipal Code. With that, staff recommends the Planning Commission adopt resolution number 21-04, approving tentative tract map number 61248. This concludes staff presentation. Myself and the applicant are available to take any questions.
All right, thank you. There may well be some. Is the applicant or his representative available tonight?
Yes, Chairman Vose. This is Chris Panero with Royal Investors Group. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Good, good. Good to see you, if not in person. I also have Henrik Nazarian. He is our engineer with D&D Engineering. He is also available to answer any questions you might have this evening.
All right, thank you for being here. I've got a couple. I don't know if others have. Ms. Garibay, could you put up the aerial first?
Yes. There you go.
All right. If I'm looking at this project correctly, 32nd Street East on the west side and 35th Street East on the east side are streets that the adjacent tracks to the west and to the east have no direct driveway access by any structures onto those thoroughfares. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, if you put up the aerial, please, or not the aerial, but the
map.
plat, yeah.
Yeah.
It's rather small and hard to read. However, if you'll notice on 32nd Street East, there are a series of lots, and I can't read the numbers. I believe they start with 115 at the top, and I'm not sure what the last one is, but there are 12 or 13 or 14 lots that take street access off of 32nd Street East, which is substantially different than previous tracks that we've developed. Is there any reason for that? The applicant can respond.
Ms. Panero, can you please yourself or your engineer respond to that?
Sure. Again, this tentative track map was previously approved by the city of Lancaster. We came in and added a detention basin, but for the most part, the layout is pretty much the same as the previous map that was submitted. We also have that adjacent drainage basin that runs along 32nd Street East, so that's a little bit of a challenge as well. I also could have my engineer, Henrik, did you have anything you want to add?
Not too much more detail. It's just the fact that the way the layout worked here, we have those lots that are fronting on 32nd. I can understand the west side of us. They didn't need to do that because they had that basin all along, so they couldn't even access it if they wanted to. So that's the only difference. On 35th, obviously, no one wants to access through secondary arterial, but 32nd, I think if the west of us, it wasn't for that basin, that track would have probably had an access as well as ours.
But is it fair to say you'll be taking substantial access off of 32nd Street East from J, probably over a good portion of the internal lots off of street, whatever it is, H, and another, so you only have really two access points off of the east and the west side and one on the south on the future J4. My concern is it's been our policy, this map's been hanging around for years as it's presented tonight with slight modifications, no creativity at all. It's basically cut and paste and bring it forward. Frankly, I'm not impressed. Particularly not impressed with the two lots directly off of J and 32nd, backing out into that thoroughfare on that corner. If you're marketing that property, I think I'd be very concerned about that. It seems to me there could be a better design as it relates to internal access streets, possibly relocating the detention basin and coming back to the commission with a design that better meets the surrounding neighborhood configuration. Just because the commission approved it 15 years ago doesn't mean it's a good plan today. How would you respond to that?
Well, Chairman Bose, we went through the process with planning staff, and I'd like to take a moment right now to thank everyone at the City of Lancaster for their diligence and their professionalism with processing this project. And it wasn't just reissuing the exact same map. Thought went into it, and we had updates to be current standards, current codes that are required for the City of Lancaster. And I know one of your questions always to me is when do you think this project could be built? And Chairman Bose, just to let you know, we could have a builder out there immediately moving forward with this project. It's very well located. They like the design. We did have to have the detention basin. Traffic has given us no other issues with regards to where those driveways may be located or access along 32nd. So again, I think we have a good project here. I stand behind it, and I know Henrik does as well. So I know we went through quite a few revisions to this map and worked with staff closely. So I'm hoping to receive support from the Planning Commission this evening.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I note that our many previous projects over the last little while, year and a half, we've been conditioning projects to require homeowners associations so that the HOAs would be responsible for the maintenance and upkeep of the internal street patterns, as well as landscaping, storm drains, sewers, that type of thing. This particular project and the conditions do not reflect that. I'm concerned that if we're applying those conditions to other development, why we're not complying with that requirement on this project.
Well, this project is an in-track project, and I don't know if your assistant city manager is available, but there is a process that and a percentage if the project is has adjacent existing development, it's considered a infill project, and this happens to be an infill project. We are kind of filling a missing piece of the puzzle for the city right here. And it's my understanding that when your public workers go out to an area like this, they would see that adjacent properties are being publicly maintained, and that's why it makes sense that this project is still publicly maintained. There are no private parks in this project. As you know, we have lots of other developments where we are installing or planning for HOAs and having private parks and amenities. This project does not. It has larger lots and does not have a private open space amenity.
Well, it still doesn't answer the question on how the city can afford to continue to maintain the rights of way, the certain underground utilities and other maintenance situations. I'm familiar with what you've said, and I understand it, but without adequate revenue, this project will not be self-supporting as it relates to that infrastructure ongoing maintenance. At least that's from my opinion.
Chairman Bose, city staff and leadership did evaluate several of the projects that were in the queue and did identify this one in particular as it being, the city was comfortable with allowing this project not to have an HOA. This is one of others that you will see come before you that are a bit smaller. We did evaluate that, and we did give them the green light to proceed without that requirement.
Appreciate that. However, that wasn't shared with the commission in advance of the meeting, nor have we had that information. I did receive it from you when I questioned it this morning, and I appreciate your response, and I appreciate the response from the applicant's representative. However, I do not agree with the recommendation. That's my position, and it's frankly, it relates to the continuing cost of doing business in this city for all these infrastructure improvements. Anyone else have any comments? Anything further from staff?
That's it.
Or the applicant?
No, thank you, Chairman Bose.
All right, thank you. All right then, public comments, Ms. De La Cruz.
We do not have any emailed comments up right now. At this time, the public phone lines are now open for those wishing to speak on the public hearing for this item. Any callers wanting to comment, please press *6 now, state your name, and then wait until you are called upon. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes each.
Hello,
Yes, please state your name, please.
Christopher Patterson.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Hi, yes, I'm calling regarding the Native American man on the side of Moe Museum wearing an Uncle Sam's hat. In my opinion, I put a petition out there, and there's 600 others who agree that this represents trauma, and this represents genocide. This represents decolonization. This does not mean anything to our Native people. Our Native people do not like this. This upsets us. You know, there are so many people who talk to me every day because it's so upsetting that we have to see that every single day. We have to be reminded of what happened to our ancestors every single day. Is that not upsetting? Is that not bothersome? I understand that white people don't have an understanding of how deep it hurts, but it hurts very much.
Sir, I'm sorry, did you have any comments on the item in question that we are discussing at this moment?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, you can save your comments until the answer.
Any other comments from the public?
What?
Is that Anthony Arroyo wishing to speak?
Oh, yes, it's not.
You may proceed.
So I just have some general questions about the makeup of what this development is going to look like.
I'm sorry, Mr. Arroyo, we cannot hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me a little bit better now?
Yes, that is better.
All right. So I just have a couple questions about the makeup of what this development is going to look like. Just a general idea of what the square footage of the houses that are going to be developed in there. What's the timeline for what the developers looking to actually start construction on some of this?
Mr. Arroyo, this is simply a subdivision. There is no detail on any of the housing that is proposed or will be proposed.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments?
There are no other comments, Chairman Vos.
All right, thank you. All right, then it's appropriate to close the public hearing without objection and consider a motion on this item.
I move to adopt resolution number 21-04, approving tentative tract map number 61248 to allow for the subdivision of 40 gross acres into 157 single-family lots in the R7000 zone located at the southeast corner of Avenue J and 32nd Street East, APN 3150-013-032 and -039, and adopting a mitigated negative declaration.
Thank you. Have a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Any further comments from anyone? None? All right, then please call the roll.
Chairman Bose,
No.
Vice Chair Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner Harvey,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Paris,
Yes.
Commissioner Tufts.
No.
So it's 5-2-0, huh?
5-2.
All right, thank you. All right, good luck with your project, Chris.
Thank you, Chairman Bose.
Thank you.
And Chairman, just if I can remind the commissioners, when you make a motion, you do not need to read the entire description. You could simply make a motion to approve the resolution, and you can state the resolution number, and that should be sufficient.
Do you not like hearing my lovely voice?
I love hearing your lovely voice. I'm trying to save your lovely, beautiful voice.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I mean,
Chairman, excuse me, if I might just chime in for a moment. The young man that called on this item with public comments, I believe his intention was to speak on non-agendized items at the end of the meeting. So if he's still on this call, sir, feel free to, at the end of the meeting of the regular agendized items, you can request to speak again on non-agendized matters. That would be the appropriate time for you to discuss your issue concerning the mural at MOA. Okay? Thank you, Chairman.
yeah, he may not have been online when we announced it at the beginning of the meeting. I'm not sure. Thank you for bringing that up. Appreciate it, Ms. Corbett. All right, excuse me. The next item is conditional use permit 17-19. This is a new public hearing on a matter that had been continued and then noticed and republished. The presenter on this, so without objection, the public hearing is open, and the presenter on this is Ms. Swain, I believe.
That is correct, Chairman.
Good evening.
Good evening. Chairman Bose and members of the commission. Before you tonight is a conditional use permit for the construction and operation of a gas island canopy, smog test facility, and a mini mart with a type 20 ABC license for beer and wine with a waiver from the distance requirements. The existing auto repair facility would be demolished. The gas island canopy would be located in the central portion of the project site and would consist of 12 fueling stations for gasoline and diesel. These fueling stations would be screened to the extent feasible by the Mini Mart building and landscaping along Avenue I and 20th Street West. The 2,500 square foot Mini Mart building would be located at the southeast corner of the project site with access from the interior of the site. Within the Mini Mart is a small restaurant area which would provide already prepared food such as sandwiches. No cooking would occur on site. 4 cooler areas totaling 120 square feet would be provided for alcohol, 3 for beer, 1 for wine. A 650 square foot smog test facility would be located at the northwest corner of the project site. 2 garage style doors would provide access to the smog test bays. These doors would face the interior of the site and no other auto repair activities would occur. Access to the project site would be provided via driveways on both 20th Street West and Avenue I. Landscaping and parking would be provided throughout this project site. The Mini Mart and alcohol sales would operate from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. Monday through Sunday. The restaurant would operate from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. The gas station and pumps would operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This project was originally heard in June 2020, and the hearing continued to allow the applicant to address the commission's concerns. Modifications made to the proposed project include reducing the size of the smog facility to 2 bays or 650 square feet, and only performing smog test activities, matching the gas island canopy to the architecture of the Mini Mart building, including a pass-through window for the operation of the gas pumps, increasing the amount of parking on site, specifically identifying the location of the interior roof access ladder, and including an interior electrical room which meets the requirements of the city and Southern California Edison. Additionally, the applicant is requesting a waiver from the distance requirements from the Chevron and AMPM located on the south side of Avenue I. These are the only two primary off-sale locations within the distance specified by the code. As shown in the map, in addition to these two locations, there are 6 other Type 20 ABC license approvals within a mile radius. Of these 6 locations, 3 are existing gas stations, 1 is a dairy on 10th Street West, and 1 is the 99-cent store off of Valley Central. The 7-Eleven at 20th Street West and J has been approved by the city. However, the development has not been constructed yet. Staff is recommending adoption of Resolution 21-05, approving conditional use permit 1719 for the construction and operation of the proposed project with a Type 20 ABC license with a waiver from the distance requirements. I am available to answer any questions that staff may have or the commission may have.
Thank you very much, Ms. Swain. Do we have any public comments on this item? Or shall we hear from the applicant or their representative if they care to comment?
I believe the applicant's engineer is on the call and available to answer any questions the commission may have. But I don't believe they have a separate presentation.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Ms. De La Cruz.
Thank you. At this time, the public phone lines are now open for those wishing to speak on the public hearing item. Any callers wanting to comment, please press *6 now, state your name, and then wait until you're called upon. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. I don't believe we have any comments on this item, Chairman Vos.
All right, great, thank you. Members, comments, questions, observations?
Just out of curiosity, are there any other locations similar to this where we offer a smog check and alcohol on the same site, same location?
Not that I'm aware of, but to be honest, I haven't looked for that situation.
Okay. And there are 6 other locations within a 1 mile radius.
For Type 20, which is the off sale of beer and wine.
Right.
So not all of them are gas stations.
No, understood. I understand.
Okay. Yes, you are correct.
There's also Type 21s out there in that same 1 mile radius along Avenue I, isn't it, right? Correct?
There are also Type 21s. That is correct.
I was just trying to get an understanding of the necessity to have another densely packed place in which you can partake in adult beverage. Just trying to get an understanding, but I'm looking at the map right now. That's some of the questions that I have at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 3 more 21s on I.
Correct. Those are 15th Street West and to the east.
Right. Thank you. Anything else from anyone?
Yeah, I have a question. You had mentioned that you're calling the interior that they're serving sandwiches, and you did refer to it as a restaurant.
Because I didn't have a better term for it, but it's basically where you could go in and order a sandwich and they would prepare it for you. But there's no sit down seating. There's no, sitting at a table, someone coming and ordering and taking your order. It's just a place for you to order sandwiches.
Okay, so nothing else, just sandwiches.
That is my understanding, correct.
Okay, thank you.
The project before us, if I'm looking at this thing correct, it conforms to the design guidelines of the city of Lancaster precisely as it relates to the siting of the buildings on the site as well as the gas canopy. Is that correct?
Correct. And actually the siting of the building up at the corner is also in the zoning code.
Okay. The CUP before us is for the alcohol beverage portion of it. The use of the site, other than with alcoholic beverage type 20, is used by right, if I understand it correctly, as it relates to the automotive uses.
That is correct. The gas station pumps and the smog test facility are allowed in the commercial zone with a staff level approval.
The existing business that's currently in operation there, which is the applicant's business, is that correct?
Yeah, the applicant for this project, he currently has that business.
Right. So it's automotive repair, mufflers.
Correct.
About 8 or 9 inoperable vehicles on the site. What's the status of the underground storage tanks since there was no environmental review on this since it was exempt? Do you know?
Yes, I do have a phase 1 and the underground, there are no issues with respect to underground storage tanks on that site or in the vicinity. Otherwise, I would not have been able to use an exemption.
So they've been removed?
Anything that is there is not leaking and does not impact the site. So there's nothing showing up on a list that is impacting the site.
So we don't know.
Off the top of my head, Commissioner Bose, I couldn't tell you whether there's underground storage tanks without me going and pulling the report because I honestly don't remember. But there are no sites on the project site that triggered a concern in the phase 1.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. We're obliged to make 2 principal findings tonight: public convenience as well as mandatory finding of specific community need. As it relates to the waiver, so according to 1742-040, the waiver of the distance requirement, in considering the request, the commission may approve a waiver if it makes the following findings, which is in the resolution, right?
Correct.
The alcohol beverage establishments will serve a specific community need, and the distance waiver approved for the alcoholic beverage establishment is not expected to result in adverse effect on adjacent property uses.
That is also correct.
However, we need to also make a finding or an analysis as to the overconcentration. If I heard you correctly, you said there are 6 type 20s within a mile, plus some 21s that also serve that jurisdiction.
Correct. They may not all be in the same census tract, which is how ABC determines overconcentration.
Yeah, I'm not interested in census tracts. I'm interested in distances. So the current operation is not what I would consider of quality that the proposed development purports to provide to the community. The site plan and the building renderings and the rest of it are extremely nice, well thought out, and given the challenges of a small site and the circulation element, the applicant did a very good job in their staff coordinating with them, certainly. What I am concerned about is if the continuing operation as it exists today continues with the new development, what's to prevent the operation to continue to generate the derelict automobiles on the site, and not a very nice appearance from the street or anywhere else for that matter.
So all of the vehicles that are currently on the site would be removed as part of the development. And this proposed development does not involve actual repair facilities. So they would only be going in, get smog tested, and leave. There would not be any parking of vehicles on the site. There would be no repair of vehicles on the site.
However, it's a use by right, so we can't condition them, or at least the proposed development does not have a condition written into it that only limits it to smog testing, right?
However, their site plan is clearly labeled as smog testing only. And in order to pull their development permits, they need to be in substantial conformance with approved site plans.
So then that begs the question from the applicant or the representative. Can they confirm to us today that that in fact is the case?
Is the engineer for this project on the phone?
It doesn't appear that
Hello?
the applicant is. Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, this is Jim Handali. I'm the engineer of the project, representing the owner also. And the idea of this development is to improve the area, improve the site, and improve the business. So he want to get rid of the mechanic business he's doing, and he want to do a smog check only, plus the mini market and the gas pumps. So that's the idea of it. He's not going to perform mechanical jobs on the site.
So you're confirming, sir, that the proposed use of the site as presented will only include the mini mart, the gas islands, and the freestanding building with smog check only?
Yes, I am confirming that, yes.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any other comments from members? All right, then do we have?
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time with my muting and unmuting. I did have a question about access. So if you're heading westbound on Avenue I, is there left turn? There's not left turn access to the other gas stations across the street, right?
No, there is not. If you wanted to go to either Chevron or AMPM, you would have to make that left-hand turn and then a right-hand turn into AMPM, or at the intersection, you would have to do a U-turn to get into the Chevron.
Yeah, there's no access northbound from I in 20th Street West into the site at all, correct?
That is correct. They can make a right-hand turn southbound on 20th, or they can make a right-hand turn into the site westbound on I.
That's not dissimilar to the other locations on that corner, however.
That is correct.
They're all three then would be encumbered by the same site conditions.
correct, with minimized turning movements.
Yeah, I've noticed that the northbound left turn pocket into
The driveway for AMP for in and out,
oh, it's in and out. Okay, whatever it is, it's blocked.
it is blocked and it can only be a right-hand turn into in and out going southbound on 20th Street West.
So we have restricted lane coverage southbound on 20th West now.
Correct.
Not anticipated to continue for a while?
I believe so, but Matt Simons can probably confirm or deny that.
Yes, good evening, Commission members and Commissioner Bose. That project, there's a project immediately to the north of that, will be a gap closure project, which will provide some additional roadway for vehicles to queue into. What essentially it'll be, it will be the bike lane on the southbound side of 20th. When that gap closure is completed, the vehicles can then use that particular space to queue while coming into the in and out. We understand that the in and out right now is a problem, and unfortunately the COVID-19 restrictions are exacerbating that problem. So we don't expect it to be to this degree in the future once the restrictions are lifted.
Yeah, thank you. All right, anything further? Did you get your question answered, Ms. Smith? You good? Okay. All right, anything else from anyone? All right then. Public comments, Ms. De La Cruz?
We do not have any emailed comments. At this time, the public phone lines are now open for those wishing to speak on the public hearing for this item. Any callers wanting to comment, please press *6 now, state your name, and then wait until you are called upon. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. I don't see any comments or anyone wishing to speak. Chairman Bose.
Thank you. All right, then, does the applicant have anything further to say, or staff?
I have nothing.
All right. All right, then, it's appropriate then to close the public hearing without objection and consider a motion.
I adopt the resolution 20-05 approving conditional permits numbers 1719.
I'll second that.
All right, thank you. Anything further from the members? All right, then please call the roll.
Chairman Bose?
No.
Vice Chair Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner Harvey?
No.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Paris?
Yes.
Commissioner Tufts?
No.
So it's 4-3 for the approval of the project.
Correct.
Okay.
4 out of 3.
We're good. We finally got an approval. It only took us 1.5 years, but here we are. Congratulations. Good luck with your project.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. The next item is item number 4, which is, I have it right here. Item number 4 is conditional use permit 19-12, a general plan amendment number 19-01, and a zone change 19-02. Assumption Holdings LLC. This is a commercial development with a mini mart, gas station, and alcohol beverage with a waiver. Ms. Campana, good evening. Nice
Good
to see you.
evening. You too. Well, good evening, Chairman Bose and members of the Planning Commission. This item before you is Conditional Use Permit 1912, General Plan Amendment 1901, and Zone Change 1902. The applicant is requesting to amend the general plan land use designation from specific plan to commercial, rezone the property from specific plan to commercial plan development, and construction and operation of a commercial mini-mart, gas station, fuel canopy, 4 commercial buildings, to allow the sale of a Type 20 ABC license, approval of a waiver from distance requirements, and adopt a mitigated negative declaration. The subject site is located on the southeast corner of 10th Street West and Avenue K8 and is within the Amargosa Creek specific plan. It is adjacent to an auto dealership, vacant land, the park, and the AVTA transfer station. The overall development is a commercial center. It would have 5 buildings, a fuel canopy, 1 building for the mini mart, and the rest for a variety of commercial uses like retail or restaurants. Pad A and Pad B both consist of a drive-through, which would be located along 10th Street West, and Pad C is located along Avenue K8, and Pad D would be located on the easterly portion of the site. Building Pad A and the mini mart are single tenants, and building Pad B, C, and D consist of 4 tenants each. The proposed development is consistent with the design guidelines. What you see here is the extra mile elevation. The design of the gas station is consistent with the project site and the surrounding uses. The articulation on all facades. The proposed building includes stucco, canopy, stone veneer, tile roofs, and lanterns placed around the building. The applicant has varied roof lines to reduce mass and scale of the building, and the roof design also highlights the building entry and implements multiple awnings. So what you have here is the floor plan of that extra mile. The proposed gas station mini mart would operate 24 hours, 7 days a week. The mini mart would restrict the sale of beer and wine from 7 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. and would only devote 40 square feet of sales floor area to display to beer and wine, as noted on the floor plan, which is in red. This is the proposed fuel canopy. The proposed fuel canopy would integrate the same materials as the other commercial buildings. It includes stone veneer on the columns and tile on the roof. The gas pumps are screened with landscaping. The corner of the site would also include a landscape berm that is approximately 5 feet in height, and it's staggered with landscaping and walls. This is the elevation for Pad A, which has the drive-through along 10th Street West. The proposed building provides varying roof lines, metal awnings, and trellises. So these are the 3 elevations for Pad B, Pad C, and Pad D. The 3 buildings are same in design, but vary in color. The proposed buildings would include stuccos, canopies, trellises with vines, and flowers and lanterns along the building. And there are varying roof lines throughout the building. Overall, the commercial center would be compatible and consistent in design with a contemporary architectural style. All the building elevations include architectural character and detail. The proposed project has appropriately applied similar and complementary detailing on all the building elevations. The proposed project complies with the design guidelines as the buildings are enhanced and articulated on all facades. The proposed project is within 500 feet from a park, therefore triggering a request from a waiver from distance requirements. The proposed project requests for a Type 20 ABC license and would not result in an adverse effect to the adjacent properties or uses. The proposed mini mart would provide services like fueling your car, sales of food, soft drinks, and beer and wine. Only 40 square feet would be used for the display, as I mentioned before. In addition, the mini mart is part of a larger commercial development with multiple commercial uses. The proposed mini mart would support the other uses on site and would be consistent and compatible to the overall project. As you can see on the map here, there are 6 Type 20 ABC licenses near the site. In addition, the Sheriff's Department added several conditions in order to mitigate potential adverse impacts to the use. What we have here is a rendering, and this is on the corner of 10th Street West and Avenue K8. As you see there, that there's the landscape berm along the corner. In addition, there would be 24,000 square feet of landscaping on the entire subject site. And this is another photo rendering of Extra Mile and the fuel canopy. And this is another view of the proposed building. In conclusion, staff recommends that Planning Commission adopt resolution number 2106, approving conditional use permit number 1912, adopting a mitigated negative declaration, and recommending approval of the general plan amendment 1901 and zone change 1902 to City Council. That concludes staff's presentation. Staff and the applicant are available for any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The applicant is here. I'm not sure who. Is it one of the phone lines? The applicant's here.
I do believe so.
The applicant's not online here to answer our questions?
They are here. I see them. Shauna Ricker is going to go ahead and answer any questions. Let's see.
Ms. Ricker?
Sorry, we were muted. Sorry about that. We are on. I forgot to hit the *6. So yeah, we're available to answer any questions. We have Brian Duke here, the engineer, and then David Stamchian, the applicant as well.
All right then. Do you have any public comments on this item? You did mention we received 2 letters of support, 2 emails, I guess it was.
Correct.
Right.
We did receive 2 emailed comment letters supporting the project. At this time, the public phone lines are open for those wishing to speak on the public hearing for this item. Any callers wanting to comment, please press *6, state your name, and then wait until you're called upon. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes each.
All right, we have none. Okay.
Hello.
Maybe we do.
Oh, hi. My name is Elizabeth. Good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Elizabeth Jimenez, and I would like to comment on the sale of more alcohol. Lancaster is a growing city, as you may know, and it does not need the sale of alcohol in every single corner. As I've noticed, it seems like that's what's being approved. As a planning commission, you need to think of the safety of the individuals of the city. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other comments from the public?
No more comments, Chairman Bose.
All right, members, any comments? Ms. Harvey?
Yes, I do have a question regarding and perhaps we could put the aerial map back up. What is the closest, from a density perspective, the closest gas station to that one? I'm just trying to see if we're using a space that, I think you may have passed it. So I'm just trying to get an idea of, just from this shot, I don't know, this is probably, I don't know, 1/4 mile radius all the way around. What would be the closest gas station to that location?
Are you asking for the closest gas station with Minimart or just the gas station? Because the closest gas station that we have there would be Costco, but that doesn't have a Minimart. It's just the fuel canopies and then, you know, Costco, the big store.
Not everybody's a Costco member, just because I am, not everybody's a Costco member. I'm just trying to get a better understanding of, because I've been one of the commissions that looks like sometimes that there's an oversaturation of gas stations, but if they're in the right places, spread out a little bit, you know, maybe they make a little bit more sense. So I'm just trying to get an understanding as to what was the closest. And that's what I sort of figured when I looked at it earlier today, that it was Costco was the closest, but not everybody's a member of Costco. Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Campana, could you explain that you indicated that this project conforms to the development guidelines that were adopted by the city some time back, similar to the project we just looked at, wherein the building, the principal mini mart building fronts or backs up to the street, and the gas island canopies are interior. This project is what I would call a standard gas station mini mart layout, similar to what was developed at 20th and 20th West and Avenue L. If I'm not mistaken, it's the same exact design by the same applicant, isn't it?
It is the same applicant. This is a different design. They had more stone veneer, and they didn't have the lines that are going across the buildings. They didn't have the variation in roof lines. So this one's also a little different because it's a bigger commercial development. So we're just not looking at the extra mile gas station fuel canopies. So the commercial, the design guidelines, has different sections. So there's the commercial development, and that's what we were looking at, the overall scope of this project and how it complies with the 360 architecture, which all the buildings have. In regards to the gas station, we do have a section in our design guidelines, and there are guidelines, and there's 5 of them. And it meets majority of these guidelines. There's articulation of all the facades. They're using long-lasting materials for the gas station amenities. The gas pumps are screened from the public right-of-way, and that's why they have that landscape berm on the corner. And it's going to be maximum 5 feet. So it's not going to be a small little berm that you see in the corner. It's going to be as tall as a person. It's going to be landscaping, and then a wall, and then another landscape berm there. So that's how they're screening the fuel canopies and how they are complying with the design guidelines.
It's interesting that you bring those items up. However, none of these items, as you just defined with landscaping, the walls and the rest of it, were shared with the commission prior to the action item tonight. So we don't have benefit of that other than a small rendering on a screen. So,
Chairman Bose, I'm not sure I understand. Are you indicating that the commission hasn't seen these renderings?
Say that again, please.
I'm not sure I understand the comment. Are you saying that the commission has not, that you have not seen these specific renderings, or which design standards are you referring to?
Well, both. The design standards for gas station mini marts clearly is a reverse siding, okay? There's no other design in the design guidelines, period. The renderings that were provided, that these last 3 that you showed, I don't have benefit of, other than what we're seeing here now. Maybe they were in the packet, but I certainly didn't see them.
So a couple of comments, if I may. This particular site, as you may know, is within the Amargosa Creek specific plan. So the design guidelines that are meant to be citywide are not actually applicable to this particular design. Having said that, the applicant I'm sorry?
The applicant is requesting, and the action before us is to recommend a general plan amendment and a zone change to the
correct. So given that,
those specific plan standards wouldn't apply.
Right.
You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. It's either fish or fowl. Which is it?
The applicant and staff has worked very closely in trying to meet in the middle, if you will, and getting a design that would be complementary to the area, to the future vision of the Parkway Village specific plan that is in the works for this general area. Staff felt confident that what they designed would be appropriate, and therefore you have the recommendation that you have tonight. As far as the renderings, they were part of your packet. It was a rather large packet. It may have been difficult to download, but they were incorporated, sir.
I'll reserve my comment on that last thing you said. Would you pull up the site plan, please? So would you share with us how the gasoline delivery vehicle, which everybody eyes will glaze over, but it's something I communicate on, relates to the tank farm that appears to me to block the only egress into K8 from the entire site. We see the circulation identified on the site plan, correct?
That's correct.
So if you park the vehicle on the east side of the tank farm to unload, it's blocking the ingress and egress off of K8. So that site circulation wouldn't be able to circulate off the site other than onto 10th Street, or onto 10th Street West.
I will go ahead and pass that question to our engineers for this project. They'll be able to provide you with a better answer.
Actually, if the applicant can weigh in on that and talk about the logistics and how this would work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hi, this is Ryan Duke, Duke Engineering. I'll field the initial portion of the question. So the traffic pattern that we show here on the site plan shows how the truck would enter and exit the site, but during the refueling operations for the tank barn, the truck would be able to stop short of that second driveway into K8, allowing egress out of that location.
I don't believe you. You put a scale on it, it won't work. Did you put a scale on it?
Right, we show that second truck there that you can see, the location and the length. We've communicated this with the applicant, and he knows the operations of a gas pump, our gas station, very well, and it is his understanding and expertise that it would reach.
So what happens in actual operation if it does in fact start blocking the driveway and the folks, all the tenants in those proposed buildings aren't able to circulate off the site? Then what? Who do we call?
Chairman Bose, hi. This is David Champion.
How are you, sir?
As you know, I operate several gas stations. The one I have on Avenue K is actually on the gas station part is on a 25,000 square foot lot. And we get delivery on daily basis. When the truck comes, pulls in, it just stops at the edge of the canopy. They unload, I don't know what the distance is from the edge of the canopy to the actual driveway, but it is far enough that there is plenty of flow. People can go from either way.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Shumason.
Sure, of course. We wouldn't do this without considering the fuel delivery. That's the first thing that we consider in planning a project like this, the fuel delivery. Making sure that the traffic is not stopped, people can go in and out easily.
So what's your aversion to conforming to the specific requirements of the design element to put a reverse building on that site?
So there's many components that go into play when laying out a site, especially one that has multiple uses, commercial, restaurants, gas. The layout here that best suited the flow and mainly getting the folks in and out of the gas station, which is going to have the highest frequency, was to separate those traffic movements. By creating all the traffic movements for the commercial development on the other driveway and keeping them on basically what we would call the southeast side of the building line, that would isolate them and the traffic movements for the gas station. It's actually made it a nice division between the way that the property is used between the different uses.
And you have no tenants for the 3 buildings, but you have a tenant for the fast food?
Yes, they're actively looking for tenants, and they're in some negotiations, but I think the contracts are still pending at the moment.
Okay, so there's no tenants actually currently then, other than the developer user of the gas station Mini Mart?
Yes. But we have a lot of interest, Chairman Bowes. I've been in talk with Fatburgers. We have a furniture store. We have a lot of fast food and sit-down restaurants actually that are interested, but they need to see the project a little further along before they can commit.
Thank you. There's also a waiver for the distance requirement to the public park. Is that correct, Ms. Campana?
That's correct.
And the reason for that is a measurement from the property line to the property line?
Correct.
So there's no control or no guarantee that folks using the public park won't access alcoholic beverages, walk across the street, buy them, and carry them into the park, even though the park is restricted from the consumption of alcoholic beverages, right? That's a law enforcement issue then. Right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Sorry if you hear my crying baby in the back.
So was there ever a site plan developed as an alternate showing the conformance to the design guidelines for gas station and mini marts with the building configurations proposed?
Can you repeat that question?
I said, was there ever an alternate site plan proposed indicating the conformance to the design guidelines for the gas station mini mart, a reverse layout than what you see today, plus the fast food operation and the 3 buildings? Was that ever presented to you or even requested of the applicant?
This is the site plan that there's been modifications from when they first submitted, but this was the layout with the gas canopy and the commercial buildings.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, anything further from anyone? All right, then. Any further comments from the applicant or the representative? None? Public comments, we have no further one?
No
None?
further comments, Chairman Bowes.
All right, then, it's appropriate to close the public hearing without objection and consider a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 21-06 approving conditional use permit number 19-12.
Thank you.
I'll second.
I didn't hear the second. Who offered second?
Commissioner Harvey.
Oh, Ms. Harvey, thank you. All right, then, nothing further? Please call the roll.
Chairman Bowes.
Reluctantly, yes.
Vice Chair Smith.
Yes.
Commissioner Cook.
Yes.
Commissioner Harvey.
Yes.
Commissioner Moore.
Yes.
Commissioner Paris.
Yes.
Commissioner Tough.
Yes.
7-0.
Motion carries.
All right, very good. Congratulations. Good luck with the project.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Good luck. All right, then, the next item is item number 5, which is a conditional use permit number 21-03, a modification to tentative tract map number 74965. Without objection, the hearing is open. And Ms. Harvey?
Yes, sir. Before you open the hearing for this item, I will have to recuse myself in light of the fact that my role in the Housing Authority deems me actually an applicant. I don't know if this has been transferred from housing or not, but I think it's probably the appropriate move to recuse myself from being a part of this discussion and vote.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Thank
You can come back and join us when we're done.
Yes, sir. If co-chair, or excuse me, Vice Chair Smith will text me, that would be great. I'm going to step out of the room.
This is also, Chairman Bose, the last item, so Commissioner Harvey can log off if she desires as well.
Well, I don't know. We like having her around. And
I'm here all week. Just let me know next week.
all right, very good. Thank you. Okay, let's see. This is Ms. Swain again.
Yes, it is.
Too bad you don't have much to do, Ms. Swain.
Chairman Bose and members of the commission, before you tonight is conditional use permit number 2103 for the construction and occupancy of a 114-unit affordable housing project on 5.66 gross acres at the southwest corner of Sierra Highway and Avenue I. The proposed development would provide 114 affordable apartment units in 36 two-story buildings. These units would be clustered in groups of 5 or 7. The individual units would either be single-story flats ranging in size from 630 to 663 square feet, or two-story townhome units ranging from 919 to a little over 1,100 square feet. All ground floor units would have a private yard, and two-story units would also have balconies. The proposed project would provide common areas throughout the development. Specifically, 4 laundry facilities would be provided on the ground floor of some of the buildings. Mailbox clusters, bicycle parking, and dog relief bag stations would be provided throughout the site. A community room and an outdoor gathering area for larger social events and a group gathering would be located near the management office on the eastern portion of the property. Parking for the project site would be provided throughout the project site along the drive aisles in between the building clusters. A total of 160 parking spaces will be provided in accordance with government code for affordable housing developments. The proposed project would provide substantial amounts of landscaping and open space throughout the development. Landscaping would be provided around the perimeter of the project site, between the buildings, and along the paseo which runs through the center of the project site. A total of 62,897 square feet of landscaping and open space would be provided, and a total of 14,410 square feet of private open space would be provided to the tenants through private yards, porches, and balconies. Affordable housing projects are entitled to concessions or incentives depending upon the affordability of the units in the development. In accordance with the government code, the proposed project is entitled to up to 3 such incentives or concessions. The applicant has requested 3 concessions, specifically a reduction in the setbacks from the property line for some units facing Gilly Way or Avenue I, providing laundry facilities on site instead of in-unit laundry facilities, and a waiver from the requirement to provide an on-site pool. The building facades are articulated at regular intervals, and the roof lines of the buildings would vary in height to provide visual relief. This would also provide screening for any rooftop mechanical equipment. Awnings and overhangs are provided over the entryways and windows, and units on the second floor would have balconies with black tubular steel railings. The buildings would be painted in various shades of brown, ranging from creamy tan, white color, to a dark chocolate brown. Portions of the building would also have stone veneer accents. Additionally, the applicant is requesting to modify tentative tract map 74965, which was previously approved, in order to consolidate the 20 lots into one parcel. Staff is recommending the Planning Commission adopt Resolution 2107, approving CUP 2103, and the modification to tentative tract map 74965. I'm available to answer any questions, and the applicant is also on the call if you have any such questions.
All right, thank you, Ms. Swain. Do we have any public comments, Ms. De La Cruz?
We do not have any emailed comments. At this time, the public phone lines are now open for those wishing to speak on the public hearing for this item. Any callers wanting to comment, please press *6 now, state your name, and then wait until you're called upon. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. I don't see any members of the public.
All right, very good, thank you. We originally considered development on this site and approved a project with the Housing Authority as the applicant, right, Ms. Swain?
That is correct.
How many units was that? 70 something?
That originally was somewhere, I want to say 78 single family style, units on individual lots. The proposed project was changed to this style to meet more specific needs and gaps in housing types in the community.
Well, the development then is, if I recall, the units previously considered had in-house washer dryer hookups, right?
Correct.
Right. I think they had stack units.
I believe so.
Yeah, as I recall. No, I understand the density bonus, the concessions, particularly for those folks in the community that are underserved, have limited resource, and require this type of housing. I mean, it's an element of housing that is important to address, and certainly the state legislature and their have mandated in a lot of cases certain concessions and certain density bonuses, which this project then conforms to, right?
Correct. This project doesn't need a density bonus. They're allowed between 15 and 30 units to the acre. So they're well within that boundary. But as an affordable housing project, they are allowed to ask for concessions or incentives, and they have done so.
So they literally could build up to well over 150 units if they wanted to really stack them.
They could build up to 150 units without requesting the density bonus. And if they requested a density bonus, they could get substantially more than that.
Right. What would prevent that kind of development of a higher density here?
I think it's more making sure it pencils out and provides the amenities and fits in with the surrounding neighborhood well.
Well, there's very little green space and the offering of balconies as opposed to yards.
So they're not actually required to provide yards with this project. They are required to provide 8% of the site as common open space, which they have done, in addition to providing a paseo down the center of the development.
Was it 8% you said?
Correct. 8% open space, 15% landscaping.
It was right on the cusp. So, and the trade-off, instead of having encumbering the square footage of the smaller units with washer dryer stack units, even though it's only 10 or 12 square feet. You're recommending freestanding laundry rooms.
Correct. That is their request.
Right. Livability, however,
it actually is a pretty common request on our affordable housing developments.
and this is a for rent or for lease facility as opposed to individual ownership.
That is correct.
Okay. It's not designed that it could be created as condominiums, right?
It could be, but it's not. This is a mix of more of the townhome type two-story units and your traditional apartment type units, kind of all clustered together in the same buildings.
And this is a project that's proposed by the applicant, but supported by the Housing Authority of the City of Lancaster, right?
That is correct. The City of Lancaster went out with an RFP looking for developers on the site. Bridge is the housing developer that was selected. The Housing Authority is still tied in with the development of the project, however.
And the financing for this is?
I'm going to defer to the applicant, who I know is on the phone, or to the Housing Authority, because they can answer that better than I can.
I believe the project manager for this is also on here, Chris.
Yes, Chris is on here, and so is the developer.
Yeah. This is Chris Lonnie. I'll defer that to the applicant, the developer.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman Bose and fellow commissioners. I appreciate the dialogue and the conversation, questions, and happy to answer any of those. My name is Anna Slavey. I represent Bridge Housing. And this affordable housing development is, quite honestly, an exciting opportunity for the city. We are preparing to make an application to the state Affordable Housing and Sustainable Communities grant program here in June. So the entitlements for this are really very critical in nature at this time. We have an opportunity to bring roughly $20 million into the city through that program. So the funding sources that we're using will be a combination of low-income housing tax credits, the HCD funding through the Affordable Housing and Sustainable Communities program, and the city funding and the land. So we have a number of competitive sources that we're going to be bringing into this community, leveraging a little city money for a lot of public investment.
What would you anticipate the rent scale will be for the units?
So these are going to be reserved for households earning up to 80% area median income. So this is definitely the working class households. To address a couple of your questions about the laundry facilities, we did a survey of other apartment communities in the city of Lancaster and found that the majority, especially those that are affordable, do have laundry rooms as opposed to in-unit laundry. It becomes cost prohibitive for these developments to have in-unit laundry. So that is sort of the best practice that we have recognized. And these will also be deed restricted for a minimum of 55 years. So they cannot be turned into condominiums near term. 55 years, they must operate as affordable housing.
All right, thank you.
Of course.
Since you identified the project, which I would agree is a working family type tenancy, one would presume that you would have households with single parents, households with more than one parent, most likely all working. However, the state law and regulations limit the required on-site parking to 1 for the smaller units and 1.5 for the 3-bedroom units and the 2-bedroom units. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So we'll end up, likely end up, because of those requirements, with an impact to off-site parking. So will the adjacent streets accommodate public parking on the street, which is, in my view, anticipated to occur for the residents of these proposed developments?
So the parking spaces meet the minimums, obviously meet the minimum standards required by the state, and the city can't ask for more than that.
I know that. I'm asking about...
The surrounding streets do allow for on-street parking, but they're not marked as parking places specific for this development.
So there's no restricting there is no restrictions currently in place nor planned for off-site street parking.
Correct, because off-site on-street parking is currently allowed within the neighborhoods.
Thank you. I noticed on the condition list, item 63 talks about a property owners association or HOA. How is that going to apply here?
It's a property owners association that requires the property owner to maintain all of the common amenities on the site. It's a condition that was requested from our capital group.
So there's no statutory restriction for those that to be imposed on a project like this?
Not that I am aware of.
Okay. All right, very good. Anyone else have any comments? All right. And we're done with public comments, right, Ms. De La Cruz?
That is correct.
All right. Nothing further from the members. It'd be appropriate then. We'll close the public hearing without objection and consider a motion.
I move to adopt resolution number 21-07.
Second.
Thank you. Nothing further. Please call the roll.
Chairman Bose?
Yes.
Vice Chair Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Paris?
Yes.
Commissioner Tufts?
Yes.
Perfect. Motion carries.
So it's 601 abstention.
Yes.
And if Ms. Harvey decides she wants to rejoin us, welcome back.
I texted her just now, so she should be coming back.
You have the fastest fingers in the West.
I have 4 daughters. I learned to text very well. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes. Oh, I'm sorry. I should mention to Ms. Selby, thank you for the responses and good luck with your project. We look forward to having it developed in our community. Certainly a need, that's for sure. All right, Ms. De La Cruz, do you have any announcements?
Nothing major, just as I shared the previous time, our agendas are pretty full for the next couple of months. We, in June, hopefully, we will come to you with an update on our housing element, as well as our environmental justice element as part of our general plan update and our housing element effort. You will have a study session with our consultants on that. And earlier, Chairman Bose, you mentioned about meeting in person. We are leaning towards that sometime this summer. I believe the city council will be the first group that will go to in person in the coming month or so. Once they've managed to get it going and having that type of meeting, then we would follow. So hopefully we'll be good in the coming months. And that's about it. Staff is extremely busy with development applications. We keep getting applications weekly. Development has not stopped. We are probably busier this year than we have been in previous years. So just wanted to publicly recognize them and the work that they do. They work very, very hard. So that is all I have this evening.
Very good. Yeah, we certainly appreciate the effort and the thoroughness of the projects as they're presented to us. It is rather limiting, however, with this method of communication and the visuals certainly and the audios from time to time. So the sooner we get back in person so we can interact more directly and have better access to the exhibits, I think we'll all be better. We and the community will be better served. So probably not May, but maybe June, huh?
Possibly.
All right. Anyone on anything further from the commission members? Had enough for one evening. At 6:37 then, wait a minute, we've got to do the public business from the floor if anyone wants to address the commission tonight. Would you announce that, Ms. De La Cruz?
Sure. We do not have any emailed comments, but at this time, the public phone lines are now open for those wishing to speak on public business from the floor on non-agendized items. Any callers wanting to comment, please press *6, state your name, and then wait until you are called upon.
Hi, yes, this is Christopher Patterson again.
Yes, is that?
Patterson, is that what you said your name was?
Yes, Christopher Patterson.
Welcome. Please go ahead.
Thank you. So I don't know if you guys heard anything I said earlier. I was kind of ranting on because this has been frustrating me for quite some time. But it is in regards to Moa Museum again, because there is a Native American man on the side of the museum wearing an Uncle Sam's hat. And every time anyone who is a part of a Native family gets triggered, because that Uncle Sam's hat is that same Uncle Sam's hat that went into the villages and decolonized them. That's the same Uncle Sam's hat that has ruined the Native word, the Native living. It's a disrespect to all Native Americans all around this country and even the world. So I just, my regards in the petition wants to see if we can do anything about getting the hat removed and leaving the Native up there with a proper headdress, with a proper Native headdress instead of Uncle Sam's hat, because it is a disrespectful gesture to all Native Americans once again.
All right, thank you for your comments.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any other speakers? I see another phone number there.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes. Could you state?
Hi, this is Elizabeth Jimenez from Cardana Treatment Center, and we're promoting the DEA's National Take Back Day, which will be at Kaiser Permanente Butterfly Building off of L. This is where individuals can take unwanted prescription drugs with no questions asked, and that will be this Saturday, the 24th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. All right, anything further from anyone? All right then. So at 6:40 p.m. then we'll stand adjourned till our special meeting of May 10th, 2021 at 4:30 p.m. Thank you all for your work tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Good night.
Enjoy.